So for this section of notes, we are going to move into solving systems by substitution. So if you remember back when we started systems, we started by doing graphing, where we plotted them on a graph and looked for the ordered pair where the two lines crossed, and that was our solution, that was our answer. So graphing is always an option. But we have a couple of more options to talk about. And the next one is substitution. So just like a substitute teacher would come in and replace me for the day, we are going to replace one of the variables with something else in order to work our way through and solve the system. So for example 1, we're going to use substitution to solve the system. So they're telling us x is 3. That's good news. So we are going to know that x is 3, and we're going to take that and we're going to replace that x with that. So this bottom equation is going to look like -5 times 3 minus y equals -10. Now we need to work our way through and simplify our new equation. So -5 times 3 would be -15. And then we have minus y equals -10. Then we're going to add 15 to both sides. So that would cancel. We would have -y. So make sure you bring down a negative sign if there's one in front. -10 plus 15 would leave us with 5. Now remember that negative sign is like a -1. So we would have to divide by -1 here so that we just have a regular y. And then 5 divided by -1 would be -5. So for our answer, y is -5. So remember, we're looking for that ordered pair. Make sure you put in your answer in the correct spot. So since we found y first, we have to put it in the y spot. Now, they already told us x equals 3. So we don't have to do anything with that. We can put 3 in the x spot, and we have our ordered pair where those two lines would cross. Now for this one, they're both equal to y. So we are going to take one of them and replace the other y with it. It doesn't matter which one. So that y is now at -x plus 2. And then over here we have -3, x minus 4. And we have to go through and simplify. But since I have an x on both sides, we have to move one of them. And I always told you guys to move the smallest. So we have -1 and we have a -3. We're going to add 3x to both sides here. These ones would cancel. We have -4 left on that side. And a -1x plus 3x would leave us with 2x. And then we have that plus 2. Now solve. So we're going to have to minus 2. We'd have 2x equals -6. And 2 times -3 would give us that -6. So we know now that x is -3. So in our ordered pair, we can put -3 in the x spot. Now we're going to take that, since we know x is -3, we can plug that back into one of the two equations. And it does not matter which one. If you do your math right, you're going to get the same answer regardless. So I'm just going to pick the top one just because it's the top one. And then y equals, and it's negative. And then we have to plug in our x, which is -3 plus 2. So right here, I have a negative, which turns into a positive. So y equals 3 plus, not 2, I'm getting ahead of myself, 2. And 3 plus 2 is 5. So y is 5. So our ordered pair where these two lines cross is -3, 5. Now for this one, instead of both of them being y equals, we have 1, and that's okay. So what we know is y is x plus 2. So we're going to replace the y in the other equation with that x plus 2. So we have x plus, our y now is x plus 2 equals 8. And then combine like terms, 1x plus 1x is 2x plus 2 equals 8. And then we're going to minus 2 from both sides. So we have 2x equals 6. So 2 times 3 is 6, so x is 3. So in our ordered pair, we can put that. And then we're going to replace that in one of the top 2 equations. It does not matter which one. I'm just going to pick the top one since it's y equals. And x is 3 plus 2, so y equals 5. So this one crosses at 3, 5. For this one, we don't have a y equals or an x equals. So we have to rearrange one of the equations. So I have 2 options with this. I could solve for this y here, or I could solve for this y here. It does not matter. So I think the most difficult part of substitution is just picking one. There's not a step. I can tell you, you have to solve for this one. You have to plug it in this one. You get to pick, and I think that's what's most confusing. So if you have to solve for a variable, all I can tell you is to always pick one that doesn't have a coefficient, if possible, because it's less work that way. So I am going to pick the bottom one. And the reason I'm doing that is because I see that in order to get rid of that 8x, I would have to add it to the other side, and adding it would get rid of the negative sign or the minus sign. So I think that would be easier and less confusing to get rid of negative signs if at all possible. So I'm going to take this equation and I'm going to add 8x to both sides. So this would cancel out and we would have our y. And 1 plus 8x we cannot do, they're not like terms. So I'm just going to write 1 plus 8x. So now we know that y is 1 plus 8x. I'm going to take that and substitute it in for our other y. So I'm going to have 2x plus, our y value is 1 plus 8x equals 6. And now I'm going to combine like terms. The 2x plus 8x can go together to make 10x. We have a plus 1 equals 6. Then we're going to minus 1. So we have 10x equals 6 minus 1 is 5. And then we would have to divide by 10. So x equals 5/10, which is the same thing as 1/2. So in our ordered pair, we could put x as 1/2. And then we have to plug that back into one of the 2 equations. Doesn't matter again. So I'm going to do the top one. 2 times 1/2 plus y equals 6. So 2 times 1/2, or half of 2, is going to be 1. So 1 plus y is 6. So 1 plus what is 6? Well, y would be 5 here. And I think I picked all examples that y was 5. Not on purpose, though. So that is substitution. Once you get one of the letters, it's pretty simple to get the second one. So just have some patience and work your way through these problems.